What is up, Connect 7 family? Welcome to today's episode of the Connect 7 podcast. I am your host, Thaddeaus Sims, and today I have a very special episode for you. We actually have our very first guest speaker of season 3, and her name is Roz Fisher. I'm going to go more into the episode, but before I do, I mentioned to you all last episode that I would tell you about something that I've been cooking up, and I thought that I'd leave you with a question instead, and maybe some more hints later down the line with some episodes. So, my question for you is, what would you say if you had the opportunity to impact people's lives with some wisdom you've gained in your own life? Would you share it? That's my question to you. I'm going to let you marinate on that a little bit. And I'm also going to share with you the fun fact as well because I thought it was interesting. I didn't know this. So the fun fact is Hershey's Kisses are named after the kissing sound the deposited chocolate makes as it falls from the machine on the conveyor belt. My mind being what it is just like, okay, I'm waking up and I'm finna go to work. Let me get this shit going on. You know, some of us, we need our coffee. Some of us need whatever. As soon as we walk into the building, all we hear is, and I'm just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I think the first week is just like, what's going on here? So I just wanted to drop that thought in your mind, that fun fact, and that imagination of those sounds. So, yeah, with that being said, let us get into this episode. For those of you who have been listening to, I wouldn't say my nonsense, but the funny shits that I've been talking about, but it's been true shits. You've probably been hearing lately this new commercial that I've been doing, and you heard me mention the name Roz, and I wanted to bring her on here so you guys can get to know her, get to know what she's about, what she does, because I can tell you, all day, every day. But I just figured it'll be good for some of y'all who actually need to change your careers and get your shit together to actually hear from someone who can help you get your shit together. She's helped me get my shit together. So, with that being said, we have Roz. So, Roz, hello, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you
Hi, thank
can.
you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Roz, you've been an amazing asset to helping me since I left the States and moved now to New Zealand. And we met through my partner. She recommended you. She was like, hey, I looked at this person. Now they help people move and stuff like that. So we've got connected. You've helped me just with my resume, my CVs and stuff. And it's like, I feel when I read it, I'm just like, man, I got to live up to this. You know what I mean? And it's awesome and it's hilarious and I love it. But I would like you to just tell people, just but they can hear from you, what is it that you do? Break it down for some of these, slow people out here. Break it down for them. What is it that you do? Who are you?
Okay. Well, my background is actually in journalism. So, and I think that's what sets me apart from other CV writers because I know how to reduce things down to very few words while still keeping the crux of the information so that the reader doesn't have to wade through this mire of words. They've just got it there right in front of them. And the other very important skill that I learned was asking the right questions
Mhm.
because sometimes people don't actually know what they want to do, or they know what they want to do, but they don't know how to present it, or, they've done other stuff that they're not sure is relevant. And just by me asking the right questions, asking questions a different way, and then sometimes asking them to explain things in a different way, we really can then get a really good overview of them on paper.
I like that. I like that. I know for a person like myself, my partner says that I need to actually stop talking as much and reduce it down. And so for you to have such an amazing ability to do that is pretty cool. Because I know I told you we answered the questionnaire through the process of the things and how you were able to just bring all of that just on like my resume and stuff like that. I look at it sometimes and I'm like, whew, and then the cover letter, I'm just like, yeah, that is me. But I'm like, and it's like, wow, that really makes me sound like this awesome person. And
I'm
it's
so glad. I think it's very difficult to write about yourself.
yeah.
You
Hmm.
know, you're very good at what you're doing, but you may not necessarily be good at writing about it. And the thing that people forget, for example, if there's a bridge engineer
Hmm.
and he's applying for a job in Qatar or wherever,
Hmm.
what he forgets is the first person who's reading his CV is not a bridge engineer.
Hmm.
It's somebody who has possibly just left high school, who is an intern, possibly. So I always actually write the CV for the lowest level so that everybody who reads it can understand it without dumbing you down or making you sound stupid. But it's not necessary to fill a CV with flowery language and hyperbole, and it's just not necessary.
Mm, I like that.
Pe- People aren't reading, an HR person is sitting at her desk and she is getting hundreds of applications for this bridge engineering job in Qatar. I'm saying Qatar. I don't know why I'm saying Qatar, New Zealand, wherever. And they are not taking them into the staff lounge room and relaxing with a lovely cup of coffee and reading each CV from cover to cover, even if it is 12 pages long. They are flicking over it in 10 or 20 seconds or less. And on the first page, they want to see certain things. If it's even a human that's doing it, because nowadays we have something called the CV scanning software, applicant tracking system, which is ATS. You might have heard about it. Everyone's talking about beating the ATS.
Hmm.
And you do that by doing exactly what I do, which is doing a complete declutter of your CV.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. And one thing that I love, because when we were talking about this was how you said you like with the engineer, you have this person and it's not the engineer that's reading it. It's someone at the lowest level and they're skimming through it. And I thought that that was such a huge nugget to just be aware of like, oh wait, you're wow, like it's not like someone who doesn't know that they're thinking, okay, put all this stuff because someone who is, and we'll say in my case, like looking for digital marketing, they would put things in there for the digital marketer to read, but it's not that
So
person.
that stuff goes on LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It,
when we do LinkedIn, you because with my product, it's not just the CV, because nowadays you've got to do this holistic package where your CV matches your LinkedIn, matches your Seek,
mhm,
matches your Indeed if you use Indeed. But for New Zealand, it's Seek. For the rest of the world, it's Indeed.
mhm,
Um, and so we make sure that the work history is the same, the keywords are the same. But then when we go to enter the project information on LinkedIn, you can then add links, you can add photos, you can add details, you can get some of the project members to comment. So LinkedIn is really great for things like that, where it's kind of more, it can be more of a scrapbook of your career rather than just the CV summary.
mm. Okay. So there's something I want you to highlight on. So you were saying like your product. So for those of you who are hearing about us talking about like CVs and stuff like that and getting in, and you mentioned the product, could you elaborate more on like what is your product? What's the whole package? What do you do? Things like that.
Apparently, I'm the whole package. No,
That's true.
sorry, that,
Very
that,
true.
that was very. That was very cheeky.
No, 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 no. That's how
So
we talk on here.
I I started
Hmm.
I started writing resumes or CVs. They People get very precious about what to call it.
Hmm.
In Canada, they call it a resume. In the US, they call it a CV. In Australia, it can be either. In New Zealand, it can be either. It used to be totally different things, but nowadays it's basically the same thing called different names. But what I produce is going to get your foot through the door, regardless of what you want to call it. And so I started out. I actually was the victim of a con man. This
Mm.
is really going back to the beginning of the story. I
Mhm.
was a victim of a con man, and he devastated my life, but he didn't manage to destroy me. And through this situation, I hooked up with some of his other victims, and one of them lived in a mining town called Mount Isa in Australia. Hello, anybody from Mount Isa. And I started working at an employment agency, a government employment agency, Centrelink. And through that, I was putting people into jobs. And through that, I was getting their CVs and showing them to employers, and employers were saying, "Oh my God, this CV just looks like total crap. I don't even want to read it. Do it better." And then I'll look at it, and I was like, "Well, what do you want it to say?" And I learned how to write CVs from the employers who were reading the CVs 15 years ago. That's how long I've been doing this.
Mhm.
And also then tweaked my little skill through people in the office who had been doing job a lot longer than I. And then one day somebody came into the office, and he wasn't on a government pension. He had just moved, and he was looking for a job. And I said to him, "I can't write your CV, but here's my number. If you contact me after work, I'll do it for you for $50."
Mm.
So my first CV, I did it. It wasn't my first CV, but it was my first private CV. I had had a lot of practice in the job.
Mhm.
And so he came around. They didn't care because we couldn't help him. He came around. I wrote his CV. He got an interview the next day, and he brought his friend around the next day who also got an interview. And then I thought, wow, I'm experienced at this. So I made a flyer and put it up at the local shopping center.
Mm.
And I started getting people contacting me, and I had a sign made and put it outside my house. So I should explain, Mount Isa is a mining town
Mhm.
in far north Queensland in Australia. And lots of people just get on a bus and go there to try their luck.
Hmm.
And when they arrive, they start applying for jobs, and somebody says to them, "Oh, maybe you need a CV." And then, they say, "Go up the road and find this house with a sign on it." Literally, that's how it worked. And then I discovered Facebook,
Mhm.
and I started putting some things on Facebook. And then one day, one of my friends messaged me, and he said, "Would you be able to do a CV for my sister? She lives in Brisbane." And I'd already been working with the idea of the questionnaire.
Mhm.
Because before that, everybody was just coming to my house, and I was doing it in person. So I put all the questions down on paper, sent them to her. Lo and behold, we wrote her CV, and she got a job. And she posted on a group of South Africans moving to Australia. And
Mm.
from then on, I was in business. And
Wow.
then, and I was really in business. And it was dealing with time zones from Australia to South Africa. It was very, very difficult. So I moved to Cambodia, and I've
Mm.
been living in Cambodia for the last 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
And
Wow.
So when I have clients like you in New Zealand, then I go to bed very early at night. I go to bed at about 7, 8 o'clock,
Hmm.
and I wake up at 2 in the morning. And then
Mm.
I start work at 2 o'clock. And then I deal with my New Zealand clients and my Canadian clients. And then, I take naps during the day
Hmm.
and I get it done.
Okay. Okay. I have to comment because when it comes to time zones, like, when I started the podcast, it was just in the States. And so now that I'm like here, I'm like, I've had to do the math in my head where I'm like, okay, if I release the episode at 12 p.m. Saturday here, that should be 7 p.m. uh
Oh,
in the States, like
oh
the
no,
yesterday.
you need a new clock.
Yeah, yeah, like I have it all set. Like I have it set where I know like okay, the whatever time it is here, I know it's like 16 or 18
Oh,
hours.
but when you've got to work out what a time is going to be, oh, it's difficult,
Yeah,
huh?
it can be, but I just use my world clock and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna set it for New Zealand time, 12 p.m. But I know that relates to I go by the EST time and like where I was from in the state. So I was like, okay, 12 p.m. NZT is 7 p.m. EST yesterday. So we'll have
Let
it
I know I should know this, but where are you from in the States?
Florida, South Florida.
Wow. Oh my. The weirdest crimes happen in Florida. What is that about?
I born and raised there. Some of us don't even know. I mean, since I moved, everyone always says Florida man. It's like, is Florida man true? And we're like, yeah, it
Oh,
is.
have you seen the thing going around social media where you have to talk about something that Jesus did, but replace it with Florida man?
Oh
So Florida man attends wedding, changes water to wine.
I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't seen that challenge, but now that we talked about it, I'm pretty sure it'll
It's
pop up. Oh my
pretty
God.
funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's
I listen to a lot of true crime, and the Florida stuff is just
yeah.
oh,
We
excuse me.
You're fine. You're fine. We don't even know. Some of us are we're it's bad to say that some of us are used to it, but some of us are shocked and we live there where it's like, Florida man, and we're like, oh my God. And then when they say the
Not
county,
again.
yeah, right. We're like, okay, we like, okay, it wasn't our county. So, that's not us. That's further down. That's a them
Oh,
problem.
not your county. Okay, that's not you're not the bad side of Florida. Oh,
Right,
okay,
right.
right.
We're like, that was
So
further south. It's different up here.
what what noticeable changes have you noticed in New Zealand?
Oh my gosh, everything. I have to say the way how everything is clean here, the fresh air, the marketing. I love the marketing here. It's so funny. Um, the people, the
An
kindness.
example, please.
Yeah, okay, so I think like one thing that we seen with the marketing was like it was a sign, or it's something about recycling, and it was like all of these straws are made for recycling. So yeah, you can suck that. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then it's another one that we seen. It was
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, it's just like it's very liberating here, but it's not like offensive. It's funny. Like we seen a restaurant and it was like, "Where's the Mexican?" And we're like, "What?" And obviously the people who own the store are, but we were just like, "Oh, that could not fly," in the States just with things. So
Isn't it
yeah,
isn't it funny? Have said, people from America have said they didn't realize that the rest of the world really doesn't care about race as much as Americans do.
yeah, that is true. That is true. It is something that is very unique and new here because it's like there's a lot of
Fantastic.
it is, and I love it. I love it. It does come with taking like I have to retrain my mind with stuff, and it's a really good thing. Like it's just different. And I'm trying to give you like a really solid example, but like I don't know, the people here just they don't give a damn too much when it comes to like, oh, okay, you're black, brown, you could be purple for all you care.
No,
They
that
don't care.
kindness is kindness. Are you
Yeah.
kind? Are
Yeah.
you friendly?
Yeah. That's how they are here. And I like it. I'm just like so shocked. And again,
Okay,
and
so
mhm,
now the important question.
yeah.
Are you an elf, a hobbit, or an orc?
I'm neither because I didn't never watch none of the Lord of the Rings. So I was like,
What?
I know, I know, I know,
What?
I know, I
How did
know.
they even let you into New Zealand?
I
Do they know about this? I think this is grounds to be deported.
I mean,
Oh
no,
my God, you know that I'm gonna send you memes about losers who've never watched Lord of the Rings now until you watch it.
it's fine.
Just
It's fine.
watch The Hobbit. Just
I
watch The Hobbit.
there's a thing. We're part of a group here, and there's someone who commented. They were like, I don't know. We could like, there's like, I don't know what it is with the new people who come to visit New Zealand, but all they ask about is hobbits. Like, and we're like, that's from a movie. And I'm like, me reading this, I'm like, I don't know what a hobbit is, but I know where they're referencing from. And they were like, yeah, like these people literally came to the cafe and were like, where's the hobbits? Where can we go see the hobbits? And
Because
I'm
it's
like,
freaking Middle Earth.
yeah, yeah.
Oh no, it's a big deal. It's for fans of the books and I mean the books have been around since, forever. And for fans of those, it's quite a sacred place.
I
So,
I'm learning.
anyway, we're moving on.
But yeah.
Next subject that I can insult you with.
I love it. No, but things have been good here, just like with the time zone. Again, that's one thing that I'm learning. But I wanted to say, kind of referencing back to like your product, I noticed that when we were going through the process, it was cool how like you said, so here we learned seek is a thing that, people look for jobs. And I liked how it was just like it was cool. Like it wasn't just a here, give me your information, here's your CV, send it to you, call it a day. It was cool, like how it was our LinkedIn's, so for New Zealand, LinkedIn's, the Seek, New Zealand, like all that NZ stuff, and how you took those profiles and that was like part of the package. And
Sorry,
first,
let me interrupt you. Let me just
yeah,
explain.
yeah,
LinkedIn is like Facebook for business people.
mm-hmm,
So you go and you put your work anniversaries and your work achievements, and then recruiters can also find people who are looking for jobs. A lot of my clients, after we redo their LinkedIn, suddenly the keywords are right
mm,
and they start getting contacted by recruiters because recruiters search by keywords. And if you don't have the right keywords, no matter how much experience you've got, you're
mm-hmm,
going to be skipped over. And then Seek is an actual job search platform where your CV is uploaded and then we tweak it, make sure everything is schmick,
mm-hmm.
and then you use that to find employers, to find jobs, to find vacancies, etc.
Mm. I like how you know all these like inside scoops because like I again I never do none of this because and I think that's really awesome, especially for those of you who are looking for new jobs and you're listening to this. She's giving you all like gold. Just
Oh,
yeah.
um, the American, since most of our listeners are in the States,
Hmm.
the product that I write is also suitable for America. What I do is we do an international spelling version
Mm,
for people who are applying remotely and internationally. And then if you tell me you're applying in the US, then we just do another tweak and change everything to US spelling. And then you've got the international and the US, and both will be absolutely fine. There is no difference. There was a rumor started by a CV writer about 10 years ago
hmm.
that you need a different CV for every country that you apply in.
Mm.
And she was costing people hundreds and hundreds of dollars to just create nonsense, just
Mm.
absolute nonsense. If a CV is well written, every single HR and recruiter in the world will be grateful that they don't have to wade through a whole lot of shit. Oh, sorry,
Oh, that's fine.
background information.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. You don't want to go through the
So
shits.
if you're in the States and you're applying in the States, we do Indeed. If you're in Australia, New Zealand, we do Seek. So really, Seek is for Australia and New Zealand, Indeed is the rest of the world. But I do have a package. I've got various packages on my website.
Mm-hmm.
And the one I recommend is the standard package, which gives you your CV, your cover letter, your LinkedIn, and your Seek or Indeed.
Mm,
And
okay.
that's $120. But then there's one, it's a little bit more, but that gives you LinkedIn, Seek, and Indeed for people who don't actually know where they're applying. They just want to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So my website is rozcv.com. They can just go there, have a look at the store, and there's various options.
For sure. And I'll definitely have that in the link for them to click on and check out, which I like how you said, like you said, with like different ones, and it's just changing a bit of like the verbiage. Like it's the same thing. And that is one of the things that we've noticed coming here is like certain words are different.
Utilize,
Yeah.
organization, all the words that you would spell like utilize, that you
Hmm.
would spell with a Z,
Hmm.
Z-E, we spell with S-E. And when I say we, I mean other countries.
Yeah.
So, but for the US and for Canada, you can use US spelling, but then you must use consistent spelling the whole way through. You can't have one time use utilize with an S and the other time use organization with a Z. You've got to pick which one you use.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And unfortunately, as an American moving to Australia or New Zealand, it's a spelling mistake.
Yeah, yeah. We're picking up on a few different things here. Just like how you said, like even with center, or it's like we are saying in our head like Centre or Centra because of C and TRE, or like you said, organization, utilization, or it's these different things. And
Aluminium and aluminum.
oh my gosh, yes. And
Isn't that funny?
it's a mix of words here that we're just like, what? And they're like, yeah, no, it's this. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, we're picking up verbiages. So but certain
It's
words,
funny.
yeah, we're like, what? They're like, yeah, we're like aluminum. And in the States, you have English, and then you have the English of like your background of like where you were at in the States. So you have the Southern version of how you would say words,
Right,
the
right,
Northern,
right.
yeah. So it's all different when we come here. We're like, uh, I'm like, yeah, no, okay. Pass me the foil. We all know what that is. Just pass me the foil. So
But
yeah,
I think if you have a sense of humor about it, New Zealanders they'll find you so endearing.
yeah, we do. We laugh. They because they'll say things like there's a restaurant that me and some friends we always debate on. It's spelled Yeda. And American, you're gonna look at it as like, oh, Yetta, but
Is
it's
it Yada?
it, they sh our friend they pronounce it Yitas, and I'm like, what? I know. Like it's Yitas, and I was like,
Oh,
okay, so Yetta, we're gonna go to Yetta, but we're gonna say
oh,
Yetta.
wow.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's a couple
I
of
would say Yada. Have you met a lot of South Africans?
a couple. It's been really cool. Like there's a lot of people from South Africa here, and I was just like, huh, didn't know that. So it's been really cool. It's been
Yeah, a
really, really
lot of
cool.
my clients, a lot, the majority of my clients are South African.
Yeah.
Um, it just happened to be that way, and I'm ex-South African. I grew up in Durban.
Hmm.
Um, and a lot of them moved to New Zealand and Australia and Canada.
Yeah. Okay. 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 That's
But
pretty
it's interesting for me when I find people like with your background where you moving from different places to different places.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then let me see something really quick here. Okay. So it's saying it's a few minutes on the clock here. So,
6 minutes left. So what do you
yeah.
want to do?
So, Roz, I always do this with all of like the people I've interviewed. So, what is a fun fact about you that you would like to share? That's something that not a lot of people know about. But
I
what's
have just, I'm so excited to tell you. I think you know, I've just released a country music EP
Oh,
with original songs. My
okay.
and it's called Auntie Kathy and Me.
Mm-hmm.
And my Auntie Kathy was a musical genius. She was a Trinity Fellow. She had her performers, so she could play the grand piano with the symphony orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
And she also loved Elvis and country music. And as a child, well, when I was a child, she would write these songs and she taught me to write songs. And one day, I must have been about 8 or 9, I said to her, I don't want you to die, but when you do,
Mm-hmm.
I promise you that I will make sure that the world hears your music. And during COVID, she passed away and
Mm-hmm.
she left a pile of about 60 unpublished, unrecorded, never heard before country songs.
Mm-hmm.
And um, so I took three that I remembered without seeing the pile of music,
Mm-hmm.
three that I remembered, and three of hers, and two of my own songs that I've written.
Yeah.
And I sing one of my songs,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've got other people singing the other songs. And I am so proud of this project. It's fantastic. So it's called the Coz Collective. It's on Spotify and Bandcamp and YouTube.
I love that. I love that. Definitely send me the name or a link to it so I
Yeah,
can,
I will. I will.
yeah, I can put it on this
I
episode for
will.
sure.
It's just such a sweet story. She she recognized the musical talent in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was quite an abused child. My mother didn't like me very much. And so I spent quite a bit of time with my auntie because she did like me. And she recognized this musical talent and she really tried to encourage that. And she did. And I'm I'm so the only thing I'm sad about is that she's not around to
Yeah,
hear the songs. But you know, everything happens in the right time.
I understand. I understand. And
And I'm
that's,
pretty sure she's heard them.
yeah, it's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Like it's something that I've kind of, it's weird for me to put in words, but like in my own way, like I kind of come from a belief of like when people pass on, like you can still do things to like honor them and keep their energy alive. And so just with the music, like how, you're taking that and just like you're creating the songs, you're bringing this masterpiece together. It's just like, though she's passed, she's still with you as you're, doing this. And it's very beautiful is what I'm trying to
It's
say.
lovely, hey.
Yeah.
Well, what actually inspired me was the fact that I became a grandmother.
Mm.
My only son and his wife had the world's cutest, most talented, and I'm not even going to argue about it. It's not up for discussion. The most talented baby. And oh, she's just turned 2
Hmm.
and she's absolutely anything music. She's just wild about it.
Yeah.
So, we get on Zoom and I play the ukulele for her or the guitar, or I just sing for her and more, more, more. And she calls me Grandma Kitty because I've got 6 cats. So that was really the inspiration because I wanted her to know she comes from a line of talented musical women.
Hmm.
And if she sets her mind to it, she can do anything.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I figured if Taylor Swift could re-record 10 bloody albums, I could make one 5-song EP happen. So at the age of 53, I launched my music career. How's that?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now that's really good. Okay, okay. So I'd say before wrapping it up, Roz, can you just tell everybody one where they can find you, how to connect with you, and things like that.
You can find me on Facebook under Roz Fisher, but the best way really is to go to my website at www.rozcv.com, and you can send me a message. Sign up for my newsletter, and I'll send you my free job search guide. And yeah, connect with me. Send me a message. Let me help.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. I love that. So for all of you out there who need to switch your jobs because your jobs are shit and you want to do something different and you're tired of, I don't know, these coworkers or your boss, connect with her. Connect with someone that can help you get your life together because some of y'all need it out here. And we love you, so we want to help you. But with that being said, we're going to end it here. But thank you, Ross. I appreciate you. And
Thank you. Bye.
later, later.